Alex had never been the most confident student. Growing up on Earth, he always felt a little out of place, especially when it came to interacting with other species. The idea of studying at a space station surrounded by aliens seemed like a dream. But now that he was here, he was starting to wonder if he truly belonged. The space station, a vast structure hovering in orbit around a distant planet, was home to students from all corners of the galaxy. From the tall, ethereal beings from the planet Leora to the powerful four-armed creatures from Zintar, Alex's classmates were nothing like the humans he knew back on Earth. Yet, despite their strange appearances and abilities, most of them seemed friendly enough. Alex tried to fit in, but he was always a bit shy, never quite able to break into the tight-knit groups that formed among the other students. One day, during a break between classes, Alex found himself wandering the corridors of the station trying to clear his head. He didn't have anywhere specific to go, so he simply followed the signs to the nearest classroom. As he walked down the hallway, he noticed a door slightly ajar. The sign above it read, "Advanced Galactic Culture." Alex, feeling a bit curious, stepped inside thinking it was an empty room. To his surprise, the classroom was full. It was a large space, with seats arranged in a circle around a central holo display. The students, all girls, sat chatting amongst themselves. They were all different shapes and sizes, some tall, some small, some with tentacles, others with wings or scales. Alex had never seen a group like this before. There was a quiet hum of conversation, and every now and then a student would make a strange sound that Alex couldn't quite place. The teacher, a tall and graceful being with translucent skin that shimmered with light, noticed him the moment he entered. She raised a delicate hand, signaling the class join us. The class stared at him, their eyes curious but not unkind. Alex hesitated for a moment, then slowly made his way to the seat. The girls in the class whispered to each other, clearly intrigued by the appearance of a human among them. He sat down awkwardly, unsure of what to do next. The teacher, sensing his discomfort, began the lesson. Today we'll be discussing the ways in which different species interpret leadership. Alex, would you like to share your thoughts on the subject? Alex blinked in surprise. Leadership? He didn't know anything about leadership. He was just a regular human student, not someone with the power or experience to lead anyone. He hesitated, not sure what to say, but then he remembered the discussions he had back home about teamwork and the importance of listening to others. Well, Alex began, his voice unsure but gaining strength as he spoke. I think leadership is about understanding others, listening to their concerns and helping them when they need it. It's not about being in charge. It's about making decisions that help everyone work together. There was a pause in the room. The aliens around him seemed to consider his words. Then, one of the students, a small, sharp-eyed alien with silver scales, spoke up. Interesting, she said. You are suggesting that leadership is more about cooperation than dominance, yes? Alex nodded, feeling a little more confident. Exactly. You can't lead if you don't understand those you're working with. The teacher smiled and nodded, seemingly pleased with his response. Well said, Alex. You might have a good grasp of leadership after all. Before Alex could respond, the silver-scaled student, who had introduced herself as Lyra, grinned mischievously. I think we should call you Captain then, she said. You'll be leading us from now on. The class laughed, a light, melodic sound that filled the room. Alex didn't know whether to feel embarrassed or flattered. But before he could protest, the teacher added, A fitting title, don't you think? Captain could be a good nickname for our newest student. The other girls in the class seemed to agree, and soon the nickname stuck. Alex, who had been embarrassed at first, found himself amused by it. He was now captain to this group of brilliant alien students. It was a strange feeling, one he wasn't sure he fully understood, but there was something about the way they said it that made him feel respected, even if he didn't deserve it. As the class continued, Alex found himself drawn into the discussions. He was amazed at how easily the girls from all over the galaxy shared their knowledge and experiences. They spoke of their home planets, of ancient cultures, and of the challenges their species had faced over the centuries. Alex, in turn, shared his own experiences growing up on Earth, though he quickly realized that his world was far behind many of the advanced species in the room. Couldn't believe how quickly things had changed. Just a few days ago, he was wandering the halls of the space station, unsure of his place. Now, he found himself in the middle of an all-girl alien class, being called captain by the very students who had once seemed so different from him. It was strange, but there was a part of him that liked the title. It gave him a sense of purpose, something he'd never really felt before. The next day, Alex arrived early to class, hoping to get a jump on things. He was still getting used to the routine of intergalactic education, and he wanted to prove that he could keep up with the others. As he walked into the classroom, he noticed the usual mix of alien species: tall, short, winged, scaled, and everything in between. The girls were already talking among themselves, laughing and exchanging stories from their home worlds. He took a seat at the front, trying not to look out of place. The students soon settled into their seats, and the class began. Today's topic was an in-depth discussion on the different leadership styles across the galaxy. The teacher, an elegant being with transparent skin that shimmered like water, smiled at Alex. "Captain Alex," she said warmly, "I trust you're ready to share your thoughts today?" The nickname still felt strange, but Alex was starting to get used to it. He nodded, feeling a little more at ease than before. The class was large, and the students came from so many different places, but they had one thing in common. They all respected each other. It was something Alex admired and hoped to earn for himself. As the lesson continued, Alex couldn't help but notice how the other students interacted. They were all incredibly intelligent and strong, yet there was a warmth between them that made the class feel like a family. Despite their advanced knowledge and abilities, they were down to earth, and they treated Alex as one of their own. It was a stark contrast to the way humans sometimes viewed each other, often competitive, always trying to outdo one another. Here, Alex was learning that collaboration was far more powerful than competition. Kayla, a tall alien with fiery red skin and sharp golden eyes, caught Alex's attention. She had been one of the first to call him captain, and over the past few days he'd noticed that she always seemed to lead the discussions. Kayla was from a warrior race, and her strength was matched only by her intelligence. Alex had always felt like an outsider in most situations, but Kayla made him feel like he belonged here. She often gave him encouraging smiles when he spoke up, which helped him grow more confident in the class. At the same time, there was a part of Alex that felt a little intimidated by her. Kayla wasn't just a leader in the classroom. She had a presence about her that made everyone around her take notice. She was always calm and composed, and it wasn't hard to see why the others respected her so much. As the class went on, the teacher gave Alex a chance to lead a small discussion. He was a little nervous at first, but quickly found his stride. He talked about leadership in the human world, explaining how it often relied on adaptability and the ability to connect with others. As he spoke, he saw Kayla's eyes sparkle with interest. She seemed to be genuinely listening, which made Alex feel like he was being heard. After the lesson, Kayla approached him. Her voice was smooth, but had a hint of curiosity. "You did well today, Captain," she said. "I think you might have the makings of a true leader after all." Alex blushed, not used to receiving compliments, especially from someone as strong and confident as Kayla. "Thanks," he said, trying to sound casual. "It's a bit of a surprise, honestly." Kayla smiled, and for a moment, Alex saw a different side of her, one that wasn't so focused on being perfect. She was human, just like him in her own way. I know what it's like to feel out of place, she said quietly. I came to this station for the same reason you did, to learn from others and to grow. Alex nodded, feeling a sense of relief. Kayla wasn't just a warrior. She had vulnerabilities too. They were more alike than he had realized. The more they spoke, the more he realized that he could learn just as much from her as she could from him. As the weeks passed, Alex continued to attend the class, growing more comfortable with each lesson. The students no longer saw him as the new guy or the human outsider. Instead, they looked at him as part of their team, someone who brought a different perspective to the group. His leadership wasn't perfect, but he was learning, and that was enough for now. Alex's bond with Kayla deepened as well. They started working together on projects, exchanging ideas and challenging each other's viewpoints. There was a certain magic in their partnership, one that didn't require words, but was understood between them. They made a great team, balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Kayla taught him how to think strategically, while Alex helped her understand the value of empathy and connection. One day, after class, Kayla invited Alex to take a walk with her on the station's observation deck. The view was breathtaking, with distant stars twinkling in the vastness of space. I've been thinking, Kayla said, her tone serious. I think you're more than ready to lead the team on the next mission. The others agree, too. Alex felt a jolt of surprise. Lead the team? Are you sure about that? Kayla nodded. You've earned it, Captain. You've shown us all what true leadership looks like. It's not about strength or power. It's about understanding and guiding others. Alex couldn't believe it. Just a few weeks ago, he had walked into this class by accident. Now he was being entrusted with leading a mission. He didn't know if he was ready. But one thing was for sure, he wouldn't back down. He had come this far, and he wasn't about to stop now. As they stood together, looking out into the endless expanse of space, Alex felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. For the first time, he truly believed he could make a difference, not just in his own life, but in the lives of those around him. With Kayla by his side and his newfound confidence, Alex was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. He wasn't just the human anymore. He was Captain Alex, and he was determined to live up to that name. Alex woke up early the next morning, his mind buzzing with thoughts of the mission Kayla had mentioned. He had only been at the space station for a few weeks, and already he was being trusted with something big. Leading a team of aliens on a mission to solve a galactic problem was not something he ever imagined himself doing. Yet here he was, ready to prove he could do it. He sat up in his bed and stared out of the window. The stars were bright against the blackness of space, and the vastness of it all made him feel small. He had always dreamed of exploring the galaxy, but now that he was actually here, it felt different. The pressure was on. He wasn't just a student anymore. He was someone who had to make important decisions, someone the team would rely on. After a quick breakfast, Alex headed to the training room where the CLRD inactivated the holo-display. A 3D map of the galaxy appeared, with blinking lights marking different star systems. She explained the mission. An alien race had been causing disturbances in the galaxy, and it was up to their class to investigate and resolve the situation. The mission would take them to a distant planet, where they would gather information and, if necessary, confront the alien threat. As the teacher finished her briefing, Alex felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He wasn't just leading a group of students anymore. These were some of the most talented and powerful beings in the galaxy. He needed to guide them, make decisions that would affect not just them, but everyone they encountered. Kayla walked up to him and whispered, "You've got this, Captain. Just remember what we talked about. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about making the best choices with the information you have." Alex took a deep breath. Kayla was right. He didn't need to have all the answers. He just needed to trust himself and his team. The mission began later that day. The team gathered in the transport bay, ready to board the ship that would take them to the planet. Alex looked around at his team. Kayla, the warrior from Leora, Lyra, the small alien with the silver scales, and several others from different species, each with unique skills. They were all waiting for his orders. "All right," Alex said, his voice steady. "Let's stick to the plan. We gather information first, then decide what to do next." The team nodded, their expressions serious. Alex felt a sense of pride. He wasn't just the human anymore. He was the one they were looking to for leadership. The journey to the planet took several hours. During the flight, Alex spent time talking with each member of the team. He asked questions about their home planets and cultures, trying to learn more about them. The conversations helped him understand the team better, and in turn, it helped him become more confident in his role as their leader. When they arrived at the planet, the atmosphere was tense. The air was thick with humidity, and the landscape was dotted with strange, towering plants that seemed to move on their own. The team stepped off the ship and onto the soft ground, their boots sinking slightly into the earth. Alex glanced at Kayla, who gave him a reassuring nod. "Let's move out, Captain," she said, and Alex led the way, his heart pounding in his chest. The mission wasn't as easy as they had hoped. The alien race they were investigating had set up traps and hidden defenses to protect their territory. Alex's team had to use their unique abilities to navigate through the dangerous landscape, avoiding ambushes and solving complex puzzles left behind by the alien invaders. At one point, Lyra, the silver-scaled alien, used her agility to climb a tall structure and disable a security system that was blocking their path. Alex watched in awe as she moved swiftly and silently, her movements graceful and precise. "Nice work, Lyra," Alex said, smiling. Lyra winked at him. "Thanks, Captain. I've got your back." As they continued on their mission, Alex found himself growing more comfortable with his role. He made decisions quickly, trusting his instincts and the advice of his team. When the alien race finally revealed itself, Alex was ready. He spoke to their leader, using the communication skills he had learned in class to negotiate and find a peaceful solution. The leader of the alien race, a large creature with shimmering purple skin, looked at Alex with a mix of curiosity and respect. "You are the human they call Captain?" it asked. Alex nodded, standing tall. "I am. And I've come to find a way to resolve this, are filled with quiet reflection and growing anticipation." Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of pride as he thought about what had happened. He had led his team through a difficult mission and managed to find a peaceful resolution. The other students treated him with more respect now, and he was beginning to feel like he truly belonged. But even as he gained confidence, he knew that things weren't going to stay easy forever. It wasn't. Long before a new challenge appeared, one that would test his leadership in ways he hadn't expected. One afternoon, as Alex was finishing his lessons, Kayla approached him with a serious expression on her face. She was holding a data pad, and her golden eyes were focused on the screen as she scanned through information. "We've received new orders," she said. "There's a galactic disturbance near the sector where we last completed our mission. They've asked for our help again." Alex took a deep breath. The weight of responsibility settled on his shoulders once more. The thought of returning to the same region where they had faced danger and uncertainty was unsettling, but he knew his team was counting on him. "I guess they trust us," he said with a slight smile, trying to hide the anxiety building up inside. Kayla's eyes softened, and she gave him a reassuring nod. "You've proven yourself already, Captain. We believe in you, and we know you can guide us through whatever comes next." As they boarded the transport ship and prepared to leave, Alex's mind raced. The mission seemed different this time. It wasn't just a simple task like gathering information. It was much more complex. The galaxy was vast, and with every new challenge, Alex realized how much more there was to learn. The journey to the new sector was long, and the team spent most of the time preparing for what was to come. Alex and Kayla spent hours discussing the best strategy, while the others fine-tuned their skills, making sure they were ready for anything. The atmosphere in the ship was calm, but underneath that calm, there was a sense of tension. They all knew that this mission would not be like the last one. When they arrived at the sector, things were more complicated than near, a tension that none of them could shake. They followed the trail of debris to a large structure that appeared to be a command center. It was partially collapsed, but there was still some activity inside. Alex and Kayla led the way, their footsteps cautious but determined. As they entered the building, they found a group of survivors huddled together in a corner. The survivors were from various species, and they looked exhausted, their faces worn from stress and fear. One of them stood up as Alex and his team entered, her eyes wide with hope. "You're here to help, aren't you?" she asked, her voice shaky. "We've been stranded here for weeks and we don't know what happened. The disturbance started suddenly, and it's been getting worse every day. We need help." Alex nodded. "We're here to assist. Can you tell us more about what happened?" The survivor explained that a strange energy field had suddenly appeared, disrupting all communication systems and leaving the sector in disarray. Ships had lost control, and the planet's atmosphere had become unstable. The energy field seemed to be growing stronger, and no one had been able to figure out its source. As Alex listened, his mind worked quickly. The situation was dire, and there was no time to waste. The team would need to find the source of the energy field and neutralize it before it caused any more damage. "We'll need to investigate the area further," Alex said, his voice calm and commanding. "Kayla, you'll lead the team through the wreckage and search for any signs of the energy field's origin. Lyra, help the survivors get to a safe location. The rest of us will follow up with any leads we find." Kayla gave him a nod of approval, and the team quickly set to work. Alex felt a surge of confidence as he watched them move into action. They trusted him, and he trusted them. Together, they had faced the unknown before, and they would do it again. As they ventured deeper into the structure, they encountered more obstacles: strange energy pulses, malfunctioning equipment, and broken systems. But Alex kept his focus. Every decision he made brought them closer to the truth. Finally, after hours of searching, they found it: a hidden chamber deep beneath the command center. The energy field was emanating from a powerful device that had been left behind by an ancient civilization. It was pulsing with power, and Alex could feel the vibrations in the air. "This is it," Kayla said, her voice filled with determination. "We need to shut it down before it causes more damage." Alex took a deep breath, his hand on the control panel. He wasn't sure if they could stop it in time, but he knew they had to try. With the team watching him, Alex activated the shutdown sequence, and the device began to power down. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the energy field began to dissipate, and the tension in the air lifted. The mission was a success. Alex let out a relieved breath. He had done it. His team had done it. They had saved the sector from destruction, and he had led them to victory. As they returned to their ship, Alex felt a growing sense of pride. He was no longer just the human in an alien class. He was a leader, someone others could rely on. With each challenge they faced, Alex grew stronger. And though he didn't know what the future would bring, one thing was certain: he was ready for whatever came next. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was still off. The recent mission had been a success, but as he sat in the quiet mess hall of the space station, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The tension in the air wasn't just from the mission. They had fixed one problem, but Alex knew that things were far from over. Kayla, who had been by his side through the entire mission, noticed the look on his face and sat down beside him. She had a way of reading people, and she could tell something was bothering him. You're still thinking about the mission, aren't you? She asked, her voice soft but direct. Alex nodded slowly. Yeah, we stopped the energy field, but there's still a part of me that thinks there's more to this than just some malfunctioning ancient device. Kayla leaned back in her chair and thought for a moment. I get what you're saying. The disturbance felt wrong, like there was something we didn't see. But right now, we did what we needed to do. We handled it, and the sector is safe. Alex didn't respond right away. She was right. They had done what they were supposed to, and things had calmed down. But that nagging feeling at the back of his mind wouldn't go away. I just feel like there's something bigger going on, Alex finally said, pushing his plate aside. I mean, it's not every day that something like that happens. An entire sector affected by an energy field that just appeared out of nowhere. There has to be more to it. Kayla studied him for a moment, then smiled slightly. You've got that look. The one you get when you're ready to take on the next big thing. She placed a hand on his shoulder. It's a good thing, Alex, but just make sure you don't rush into it without knowing all the facts. He had a feeling that this would be the moment he had been waiting for. When he arrived at the briefing room, he found Kayla already there, standing by the holo display. The rest of the team was also present, their faces serious. Alex's heart raced a little. He was used to seeing them in the classroom, but now, in a more formal setting, the responsibility seemed even greater. The commander of the station, a tall alien with a regal presence, spoke first. Captain Alex, he said, his voice low and steady. We have new intel regarding the recent disturbance. It's worse than we thought. Alex exchanged a quick glance with Kayla. He knew it. This wasn't just a random event. We've been monitoring the sector, the commander continued. It turns out the energy field wasn't an isolated incident. We've detected similar anomalies in other parts of the galaxy. They're spreading, and they're becoming more powerful. Alex stood up, his mind racing. This was exactly what he had feared. Whatever was happening was bigger than they realized, and if it wasn't stopped, it could threaten the entire galaxy. What do we know? About the source of these anomalies? Alex asked, his voice firm. The commander sighed. That's the problem. We don't know. The anomalies appear and disappear with no warning, and there's no trace of what's causing them. We suspect it's a weapon, but no one has seen anything. Like it before? Kayla stepped forward. So we're dealing with an unknown force? That's correct, the commander replied. And we need you and your team to investigate. We've pinpointed the location of the next anomaly. It's a distant planet, known for its ancient ruins. We believe the source of the disturbances may be there. Alex felt a surge of determination. This was the challenge he had been waiting for. They had already proven they could handle the unexpected, but now they were facing something even more dangerous. He turned to his team, his voice filled with confidence. We've done this before. We'll find the source and stop it before it spreads any further. We're the ones they called for a reason. Let's get to work. The team nodded, their faces set with purpose. Alex could see the trust in their eyes, and it made him feel even more sure of himself. He wasn't just a student anymore. He was leading this team, and they were ready to follow him. They prepared for the mission, gathering their equipment and making sure everything was in order. The journey to the planet would take several hours, and there was no telling what they would face long, and the quiet hum of the ship was the only sound Alex could hear. He sat by the window, staring out into the vastness of space. The stars seemed to go on forever, a reminder of just how small and insignificant everything seemed sometimes. But in this moment, he didn't feel small. He felt like a part of something much bigger, a mission that could change the fate of the galaxy. Kayla sat beside him, her usual confident demeanor softened by the silence between them. She had always been calm, collected, and ready for action, but Alex could tell that even she was feeling the weight of what lay ahead. The team had been through a lot, but this mission felt different. The stakes were higher, and the unknown was looming over them. No one knew what awaited them on the distant planet, and that uncertainty made everything feel even more real. "We'll get through this, Captain," Kayla said quietly, breaking the silence. Her voice was steady, but there was a hint of something deeper, something Alex couldn't quite place. "We've done the impossible before. We can do it again." Alex nodded, grateful for her support. He wasn't sure if he was ready for what was coming, but he knew that he didn't have a choice. He had to lead his team, and they were counting on him. He couldn't let them down. As the ship entered the planet's atmosphere, the team gathered in the briefing room. The holodisplay flickered to life, showing a map of the planet below. The planet was largely uncharted, with little information available about its history or inhabitants. The ruins they were heading toward were ancient, with signs of activity that suggested they had once been part of a thriving civilization, but something had happened. Something had disrupted the peaceful existence of the planet, and the disturbances that had been spreading through the galaxy seemed to be linked to it. "This planet is unlike any we've seen before." The commander's voice came through the ship's comms. "The ruins are filled with energy readings, but there's no clear explanation of what caused them. We believe the source of the disturbances is here, hidden deep within the planet's core." Alex took a deep breath as he absorbed the information. The pressure of the mission weighed heavily on him, but he couldn't show any doubt in front of his team. He had to be strong for them. He had to make sure they all came back safely. "Let's stick to the plan," Alex said, looking around at the faces of his team. "We approach the ruins, gather as much intel as we can, and figure out how to neutralize whatever's causing this. We don't know what's waiting for us down there, so stay alert." The team nodded, and they prepared to land. Alex felt a flutter in his chest as the ship descended toward the surface. He had led them before, but this time felt different. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting for them, something far more dangerous than they had faced before. As the ship touched down, the team disembarked and made their way toward the ruins. The air on the planet was thick and heavy, the atmosphere charged with a strange energy. Alex felt a tingling sensation on his skin as he stepped onto the surface, as if the planet itself was alive, watching them. The ruins loomed ahead, towering, structures covered in vines and strange markings. It was clear that this place had once been a center of life, but now it was abandoned, a ghost of its former self. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as they moved closer, the silence around them broken only by the sound of their footsteps. As they entered the main structure, the temp, temperature dropped and the air grew heavier. It felt like the walls themselves were closing in on them. Alex could sense the unease in his team. They were all on edge, but they didn't let it show. They had trained for moments like this, and they knew that sticking together was their best chance of survival. "We need to find the source," Kayla said, her voice low. "There's something in here, something that's causing the disturbances. We need to shut it down before it spreads any further." Alex nodded. "Stay close. We'll move through the ruins systematically. Keep an eye out for anything unusual." They moved deeper into the structure, following the faint energy readings that led them to a large chamber at the heart of the ruins. The room was filled with strange machinery, unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It hummed with power, its lights flickering in time with the pulses of energy that filled the room. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, and on it, an ancient artifact pulsed with energy. Alex could feel the power radiating from it, and his instincts screamed at him to approach with caution. "That's it," Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. "That's the source of the disturbances." Alex stepped forward, his mind racing. He could sense the danger in the air, the energy in the room building with every passing second. He had to act fast. "Lyra, can you analyze the artifact?" Alex asked, his voice calm but firm. Lyra nodded and moved to the pedestal, her fingers dancing over the controls of her equipment. "I'll do my best," she said, her voice focused. As Lyra worked, the rest of the team kept watch, their weapons ready in case anything went wrong. The tension in the room was palpable, and Alex felt every second stretch on, as if time itself was holding its breath. After a few moments, Lyra looked up, her face pale. "It's a device of some kind," she said. "It's not just emitting energy. It's controlling it. It's capable of manipulating the fabric of space itself." Alex's heart skipped a beat. This was no simple artifact. It was a weapon, one that could have catastrophic consequences if left unchecked. "We need to shut it down," Alex said, his voice steady. "Now." But as he took a step forward, the ground beneath them trembled, and the walls of the room began to shift. The artifact flared with light, and the energy field surrounding it intensified. It was too late to stop it now. The planet was waking up, and Alex and his team were caught in the heart of its power. "Get ready!" Alex shouted to his team. "We fight until it's over!" The moment the artifact flared with light, everything changed. The walls around Alex and his team shook, and the air crackled with power. The strange energy coming from the artifact intensified, and Alex could feel it in his bones, a deep hum that seemed to resonate from the very ground beneath them. It wasn't just the energy, it was the sensation that they were in the middle of something ancient, something that had been lying dormant for centuries, now waking up with a force that could destroy everything in its path. "Get back!" Alex shouted, raising his voice to be heard over the growing rumble. The team instinctively moved into defensive positions, their weapons ready, but Alex knew this wasn't going to be a battle they could fight with force alone. He had to think quickly. He had to lead. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the pressure of the situation weigh down on him. There was no time to waste. They couldn't afford to keep waiting for Lyra to figure it out. This wasn't just a mission anymore. It was a race against time. "Kayla, you and the others focus on securing the area. Lyra, keep trying to disable the artifact. I'll find a way to get us closer." The team moved quickly, each of them falling into their assigned roles. Kayla led the group, directing them to create a perimeter around the artifact, ensuring no surprises would come from outside. Alex moved closer to Lyra, watching her work as her fingers moved swiftly over the controls of her device, her face grim with concentration. "I can't promise I'll be able to stop it in time," Lyra said, her voice tinged with frustration. "The energy is unpredictable. We're running out of options." Alex knew she was right. The artifact was unlike anything they had ever encountered, and they were dangerously close to its core power. But there had to be a way. They couldn't let it all end here. "Focus on what you can do," Alex said firmly. "We'll find a way to hold this together. Trust me." Lyra gave him a nod, her determination strengthening. She continued her work, trying to find the right frequency to break through the artifact's energy field. Alex knew that her skills were their best hope, but there was still the matter of the artifact's growing power. As the minutes ticked by, Alex's heart raced. He looked at the walls, watching as they seemed to shift and distort under the influence of the energy. The once stable structure was now bending and warping, as if the very fabric of the planet itself was reacting to the artifact's power. Then, it happened. The ground beneath their feet trembled again, but this time it was different. A low, menacing hum filled the room, and Alex's eyes widened as the entire chamber seemed to shift in real time. The energy around the artifact expanded, sending shockwaves through the room. "We need to move, now," Alex shouted. Kayla and the others were already pulling back, but Lyra was still struggling to disable the artifact. Alex could see the strain on her face, the effort of fighting against something far beyond their understanding. He couldn't. "Just wait! Lyra!" Alex called, his voice urgent. "I'll help you! Just tell me what to do!" Lyra looked up, her eyes filled with fear and exhaustion. "There's a control panel under the pedestal," she said quickly. "If we can activate it, we might be able to disrupt the power flow, but it's risky." Alex didn't hesitate. He sprinted toward the pedestal, the air thick with energy. The walls were cracking now, and pieces of debris fell from the ceiling. Time was running out. Reaching the pedestal, Alex crouched down and found the control panel hidden beneath the base. His hands moved quickly, trying to figure out the buttons and switches, but everything was flashing, and the energy pulse was overwhelming. He had no idea if he could manage it in time. "Just a few more seconds, Captain," Lyra called out, her voice strained but hopeful. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he pressed the last button, holding his breath as the energy field flickered. The room shook violently, but then, for a moment, everything stopped. The hum of the artifact slowly faded, and the room settled into an eerie calm. For a brief second, Alex thought they had failed. But then, the artifact began to pulse again, this time weaker, the energy flickering like a dying flame. It was working. Slowly but surely, the energy around them was being neutralized. "It's working," Lyra said, her voice filled with relief. "Keep it up, Alex." Ormal. Alex stood up, exhausted but relieved, his body still trembling from the intense strain. "We did it," Kayla said, her voice quiet but filled with awe. She approached Alex, her gaze filled with respect. "You did it, Captain." Alex turned to look at his team, his heart swelling with pride. They had faced the unknown together, and they had come out victorious. It wasn't just his leadership. That had made the difference. It was the teamwork, the trust they had in each other. Without that, they never would have made it. "Thank you," Alex said, his voice thick with emotion. "We did it together." The team stood in silence for a moment, each of them processing what had just happened. They had stopped the threat, saved the galaxy from disaster, and in doing so, had grown stronger as a team. The future was uncertain, but Alex knew one thing for sure. He was no longer the outsider. He was a leader, and his team was with him every step of the way. The galaxy had no idea what was coming, but together they would be ready for whatever came next.